Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. It is a very snowy Sunday as we close out November, but you'll be happy to know that it looks like Fergie's landed on her feet again. According to the Daily Mail, she'll be moving to Oxfordshire. Beatrice and Eduardo have a £3.5 million mansion tucked behind high walls in a quaint village. Now, the Mail describes her accommodation as a converted cow shed. A shed, not even a barn. Fergie gets a shed. Truth be told, the building has been totally renovated. In the article, they go through the whole thing. New furnace and fittings and windows and I mean everything, right? It's been renovated into a mighty fine bungalow, and she's just across the lawn from the main house. There's a pool, tennis courts, her quote-unquote glorified shed. That's hilarious. That's what the Daily Mail quoted it as, the glorified shed. Indeed. And I mean, as far as for future plans, it sounds like Sarah is looking at her options. Now, I don't know what options she's got left, She'll have to do something with her charities and book deals all scuppered. People are saying appearances, an interview, a tell-all book, that kind of thing. And I guess it depends what the market is. Who wants to talk to her? Would Oprah do another interview? Has, after the deceptive emails and the things we now know about Fergie's relationship with Epstein, is anybody going to want to listen to anything she has to say anymore? It's hard to say. Now, we know she's always been able to snap back after several setbacks. I mean, in her life, setback and scandal, one after the other, but this is pretty huge. You can't just sweep this one under the rug. It just keeps snowballing, and it's very damaging to the royals. The revelation about Andrew's deal for Royal Lodge, the peppercorn rent, the 75-year lease kind of thing. And this peppercorn rent, which he hasn't even paid in years. Yeah, he paid up front $7 million towards rent and renovations and that. But we now know he hasn't paid anything in years. These kind of revelations have just really opened a can of worms for the royals, which is only adding to the problems right now. The other day there was an article that appeared as well in the Mail talking about Edward and Sophie and their home, Bagshot Park in Surrey. Now, Bagshot Park is even bigger than Andrew's Royal Lodge. Royal Lodge, 30 rooms. Bagshot Park, 120 rooms. Bagshot Park, again, was a gift to the Queen when they married, and it's been revealed that Prince Edward is paying, quote unquote, a peppercorn rent for the mansion. The same type of peppercorn rent deal that Andrew got, right? Now, we do know that Edward paid $5 million up front for a 150-year lease on Bagshot Park. And over the years, he's spent a few million on renovations and that kind, and upkeep. Basically operated in the same exact way Andrew has with Royal Lodge. And I mean, we have no real information about what the market rent on a place like Bagshot would be, a big estate like that, or what he actually pays. Because the royals, as we have discovered, with this alone and many other revelations over the years and things, they really like to keep their finances private. They don't consider it any of our business. You know? Now, yeah, so Edward, he's getting another really good deal. And it's come to the attention of the press and the public. This kind of scrutiny is just what the monarchy doesn't need right now. The king is trying to keep Andrew under wraps and hidden away, while at the same time accommodating him. He's trying to do the same thing with Harry and Meghan, and we see it doesn't work. This is a monarchy in disarray under Charles. There's a push-pull going on between him and William. And I mean, I've talked about this extensively in my playlist, King Charles III, Life Imitating Art. If you haven't looked at that, it's time you do. Now, we know William, Charles, and Harry, their separate offices, all brief against each other. I mean, they always have. Even though blood, there is kind of an insane, innate jealousy amongst the royals. Even when the Queen Elizabeth, she'd get mad and jealous if Charles, as Prince of Wales, had some initiative. Well, a really good example was when he left the Navy and he used his Navy pension payout of something like $7,000 at the time to develop his initial charity, the Prince's Trust, that does all the work with the underprivileged. And in all this time, he's helped start up something like 1 million, people. So yeah, it's been incredible. But even at the time when he was talking about this is what he wanted to do, the Queen was not happy with him because she thought his efforts with the Prince's Trust would overshadow what Prince Philip was doing at the time. So there's always been that kind of jealousy between them. It was the same between the War of the Wales. Diana and Charles and Camilla were all briefing against each other. It's what they do. And I mean, as I predicted, and as we're seeing, there are now authoritative voices calling for the king's abdication. But I mean, nothing will happen too soon. Christmas is almost upon us. We'll hear more solid news about Andrew's situation, relocation in the new year. We'll see William even more out front than we do now. The transition is already underway, in my opinion, and what I've observed, and what I've been writing about for years. Although William and Catherine would like more time to raise their family, fate is determining his actions now. To understand William's motivation, we gotta go back to Diana, and indeed, all that bickering and briefing against each other between Diana's court and the palace and William. I mean, he was a teenager. He was old enough. He saw the way, well, and plus Diana really confided in him. He saw the way that Charles and Camilla mistreated Diana. And I don't think he's ever forgiven his father. Royal reporters have said for years that they've never been terribly close, that it was actually Harry that Charles was more close with, and that's why this whole breakup between Meghan and Harry, the whole Mexit thing, has been really hard on Charles. So, we've got calls for abdication, some stating scandal and incompetence for the reason, and some claiming the cancer as the call, you know? Either way, I've been saying this for almost 3 years now, before we had a cancer diagnosis, that William would compel Charles to step down. It's time to look at that playlist, King Charles III, Life Imitating Art, if you haven't already. We are close, if I'm right, a matter of months, weeks, till we see some big shakeups. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, subscribe, and notifications. Leave me a comment. I want to know what you're thinking. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.